Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for stopping by for another video, or if you guys are new here, then hello. In today's video, I'm going to be doing one of my most highly requested videos that you guys have wanted me to film. It is going to be how I saved money to buy my house at 23 years old. You guys have asked a fair amount of questions, so I'm going to try to make this video as short as I can to really go through the key points that I did to buy my house at such a young age. If you do have any further questions, make sure to leave them in the comments down below and I will answer them for you guys. So if you are interested in seeing this video, then just go ahead and keep on watching. So getting this video started, the first and number one thing that I want to tell you guys from the get-go is that not everyone is going to be in the same situation that I was in before I bought my house. A little bit of a backstory, I was living with my parents up until a couple months ago when I moved into this house. So I had never lived on my own. I never had a rent payment. My parents were nice enough to not charge me rent, which I am so thankful for. If you guys are watching this, thank you so much. So I did have the whole entire time span from when I graduated high school to now. And even before I graduated high school, I've had a job since I was a sophomore in high school. And I've always been really good about saving my money. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I got a job at a doctor's office. I was the receptionist and a file clerk. I didn't make that much money. I did make over a minimum wage, which was really nice. But I did save a decent amount of money every single paycheck. If you guys didn't know, I also saved up to buy my car. So if you guys are interested in that video, I will do a whole separate video, but it's pretty much the same things that I'm gonna be talking about in this video. So the reason why I'm saying my situation is very different than a lot of other people is because a lot of people are living on their own already and they have a rent payment and all of those bills already, as to where I didn't have any of that stuff. I had my car payment and my credit card bills that were not very much. So I was very lucky in that sense. And again, thank you so much, Mom and Dad, if you're watching this. I am so blessed to be in this position and to have been able to do this at such a young age. I have always known from pretty much when I was in high school that I've always wanted to buy my own car and I wanted to buy my own house. And especially now, I don't know if you guys know, you probably don't, but here in Colorado, the city that I live in is growing so rapidly. A lot of people are moving to my city, and in return, the rent prices are going up ridiculously. It's kind of insane to think that a one-bedroom apartment is the same amount as my mortgage payment. It's absolutely insane to me. So to give you guys a little bit of an idea of why I never wanted to rent, I had no reason to rent and go into an apartment. I didn't hate living with my parents. If anything, I really loved it. So there was no sense in me moving out and just wasting money because I would be throwing away probably $1,500 plus a month just on rent. So I hope that that gave you a little bit of a background on kind of my situation before I moved out. I didn't decide on moving out and buying a house until January of this year. It did take quite a lot of time for me to look around my city and figure out where I wanted to be. I kind of knew that I wanted to have a new build because I really wanted it to be exactly how I wanted it to be. If I didn't get a new build, that wouldn't have been the end of the world, but the market is so crazy right now that most houses go for over the asking price because there's such a demand for houses right now. So now that we've gotten my past situation before I became a homeowner out of the way, we're going to go on to more of the bullet points of how I actually saved money to move out. So the number one thing on my list is you need to have credit, which a lot of you guys have asked questions on. You've asked how I established credit, how I started to build credit, and that's a really good question because when I was younger in high school, I had no idea on how to build credit. I believe that it was the year that I graduated high school, which was 2012. It may have been 2011, I can't remember, but it was either 2011 or 2012. I opened up a Best Buy credit card. I don't know if they are one of the only companies that allows someone to open up a line of credit without any credit at all, but I did open up a credit card with them and I did buy my Canon camera, which I actually never use. That is the best way, in my opinion, to start building credit. Along the way, I have gotten another credit card from Victoria's Secret, so I do have 2 credit cards. Don't want to have endless amounts of credit cards, do not get me wrong. If you can just get 1 credit card, do that. What has also helped me build up my credit as well is that I do have my car payment now, so that is also helping me build my credit, and it helped me build my credit before I bought my house. The next thing that I recommend is to have a 20% down payment for the house. So none of these numbers relate to my situation. I'm just going to give you these numbers so that you can understand a little bit better of what I'm talking about. So let's say 20% of the price of your house is $50,000. Let's just use that as a hypothetical, like I said. So again, it's going to be hard for most people that are out living on their own already and have to pay rent and bills and all that good stuff. It's definitely going to be a lot harder. And I do also want to say before we go further, you don't have to have a 20% down payment. I'm just saying that this is what I did and I would recommend it. And that's what the financial advisor also recommended. So if the down payment is $50,000, say you save $1,500 per month, in a year you would have saved up $18,000. So again, I did this by myself, but a lot of people have a significant other or a husband if you guys are going in on this together. Again, this would be a lot easier because you have another person's income to kind of save up even more money. So if you times it by 3 years, you would have saved up $54,000 in 3 years by saving $1,500 a month. Again, I know this is not ideal for everyone. I'm just letting you guys know kind of what I did. Another thing that I would suggest, and I've also heard as well, is you want to make sure that your rent is 1/4 of your income. I know, again, this is not ideal or even possible for a lot of people. In my personal opinion, I feel like if your rent is half of your income, that's not the best thing in the world, but if it is half of your income, you can still get by as long as your like rent and utilities and stuff like that is half of your income. I think you will be fine. Another tip that I have for you that I personally did is I had a year's worth of mortgage payment saved up before I moved out, which I've heard a lot of people say, especially when you're moving out into an apartment. You want to make sure that you have at least 6 to 12 months. I would say more of 12 months saved up before you move out, because you never know what's going to happen. In the long run, you could have an emergency situation where you need to use a lot of money, and you don't want to be completely scrambling for money if you do run into an emergency. So the last thing that I want to talk about, I actually got from one of my clients, which I am so thankful for that she told me about this, because it's an absolute genius idea. Because I was talking to her about just the process of buying a house and if I can afford it, and she went ahead and told me something that completely changed the game for me, and I hope that it really helps you guys out as well. So she told me to be able to see if you can afford like either rent or if you're going to be buying a house, what you should do is every single month you should take out the amount of bills that you think you'll be paying for your mortgage, your utilities, cable, internet, all of that stuff, and take it out and put it into a savings account every single month and see how much money you have left over. And if you have a decent amount of money left over, you will know that you can afford the house or the apartment that you're going to be moving into, or whatever the situation may be. So I thought that that advice was absolutely so helpful. I'm so thankful for that, because I did do that before I moved out, and it was really helpful for me to see how much money I have left over. I want to end this video with another question that a lot of you guys have asked. You guys know that I am a cosmetologist, and a lot of you guys have asked me if the income is good enough to support yourself and for you to live a decent life. And I am here to say that I totally think that if you are passionate about the industry and you stick it out for 3 to 5 years to build your clientele, you can 100% live an amazing lifestyle. I am planning on making a completely separate video on that as well. I will be filming my cosmetology experience and how it's been going. I do that on a yearly basis to update you guys on how my career has been going. And this year I feel like is the most change that has happened, just because I feel like my income is more, not necessarily steady, because in my industry it's never steady. You never make the same amount every single paycheck. But I am here to tell you guys that yes, you can live a nice life and afford nice things if you are passionate about the industry, which I will go more into in that video in the upcoming weeks. So if you have any questions on that in particular, leave them down below as well. Again, if you guys have any other questions, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. I will make sure to reply to all of you guys to answer your questions. I hope that this video was helpful and encouraging to you guys. I know, again, like I said, that I am not every person. I know a lot of people are not in the situation that I was. I'm very blessed and thankful that I had the opportunity that I did to buy a house at so young, and I will never take that for granted. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, stay marvelous.